The biggest loser of the 2030 World Cup? Valencia, the third largest city in Spain, won't be hosting any matches during the upcoming tournament as of today. However, construction of the stadium, which began 18 years ago, has officially resumed. Unfortunately, this happened a bit too late, as the venues for the World Cup have already been selected. But is everything really lost? StadiumDB.com presents Nou Mestalla. Construction restarts in Valencia. February the 25th, 2009. Club president Vicente Soriano announced that construction on Nou Mestalla was being stopped due to a lack of funds. However, the problem was much bigger. The plan of former president Juan Soler relied not on loans but on the club's income and the sale of the current Estadio de Mestalla. The result? Over 500 million euros in debt. More than 15 years later, the concrete structure remains just that, a bare skeleton, looking more like Roman Colosseum than a modern stadium. Instead of becoming the best stadium in the world, the project caused financial, sporting and political problems that seemed endless. Despite many announcements about resuming construction, politicians, fans and FIFA no longer trusted the club and demanded action, not promises. Now things seem to be moving forward. The club denies that the structure is in bad condition and has addressed the doubts. In a tense press conference, club president Lei Hun-chan announced the return of construction crews to Nou Mestalla. The key news? Workers will be back on January the 10th, just one day before the deadline. Lei Hun-chan promised fans a new, beautiful stadium that will generate twice as much revenue as Mestalla. We will have better financial stability and more resources to invest in the team. Everything is connected. I'm not lying, said the president. Once construction is completed by July the 12th, 2027, the club plans to sell Mestalla. This is expected to pay off around half of the 325 million euros debt Valencia CF will take on to finish the stadium. The Spanish construction company FCC has been chosen for the job and negotiations are well advanced. Starting January the 10th, Valencia CF will have 30 months to complete the stadium as required by the City Council when granting stricter permits last July. The original concept for the new stadium on Avenida de les Corts Valencianes was designed in 2006 by Mark Fenwick's firm. The impressive structure featured glass elements that mimicked Valencia's topography in a simplified way. In November 2013, Valencia CF and Fenwick presented an updated concept. To reduce costs, the project was significantly scaled down, lowering the budget to 200 million euros. In 2017, another, even more streamlined concept was introduced. To save money, the compact facade was abandoned. The 2022 visualizations of the new Mestalla Stadium in Valencia showcase a modern and ambitious vision for the future home of Valencia CF. The design features a sleek circular structure with a distinctive perforated roof that adds a sense of lightness and elegance to the stadium's exterior. The facade incorporates horizontal bands and open elements, creating a layered effect that gives the structure a dynamic and contemporary appearance. Inside, the stadium is dominated by a bold orange and black color scheme, reflecting the club's iconic colors. The tiered seating design ensures excellent visibility from all areas, with 3 main levels of seating that provide a balance of capacity and comfort. The roof structure extends over the stands, offering shade and protection while maintaining an open and airy feel thanks to its translucent materials. The interior spaces are equally impressive, featuring modern lounges, dining areas and conference facilities designed with clean lines, minimalist furniture and large glass panels that let in plenty of natural light. These areas blend functionality with style, offering a premium experience for VIP guests and regular fans alike. Additionally, the concourses are spacious and well lit with clear signage and modern finishes that enhance the user experience. On January the 10th, 2025, the day work resumed on Nou Mestalla. Valencia released the latest renderings of the stadium. The main difference compared to older visualizations is the roof. In the latest renderings, the roof is membrane-based, adding a sense of lightness to the structure and giving it a more Mediterranean style. Gaps between the stands and the roof remain visible. The canopy will cover all seating areas in the stadium. The seats in the stands are no longer uniformly orange, but also feature shades of grey and black. Before we move on to the World Cup topic, help us fulfill our New Year's resolution by subscribing to our channel. Thank you for your support and engagement. The Spanish Federation considers the exclusion of Nou Mestalla from the World Cup to be illogical. The new president of the Royal Spanish Football Federation, Rafael Lozan, has once again highlighted his commitment to including Valencia as a host city for the 2030 World Cup. While he also mentions Vigo, his main focus is on why the tournament should take place at Nou Mestalla. This time, along with emphasizing Valencia's importance to Spain, Lozan pointed to one more reason: the restart of construction at Nou Mestalla, planned for January the 10th. It will be a completely new stadium, probably the newest one we'll have at this World Cup, he said, also mentioning the 70,000-seat capacity, which would make Nou Mestalla one of the largest stadiums in Spain. Lozan assured that bringing the World Cup to Valencia is still his goal, though he didn't explain how he plans to make it happen. One option could be negotiating with Morocco, Portugal and FIFA to add more stadiums. Which stadiums in Spain could be replaced on the list by Nou Mestalla? Among the 23 stadiums set to host matches during the 2030 World Cup, 14 either exist only on paper or will undergo significant renovations before the tournament. We've selected 3 that could potentially be replaced by the stadium in Valencia. Estadio de Riazor. The project has sparked controversy, with many questioning its long-term viability. Does Deportivo La Coruña really need a stadium for nearly 50,000 fans? La Rosaleda. This is another venue that currently exists in its old form. The project for a new stadium hasn't gained support from the club and appears less necessary compared to Valencia's case. RCDE Stadium. One of 2 stadiums from Barcelona including in the World Cup. It has a much smaller capacity than Nou Mestalla and received a low score from FIFA, just 3.6 out of 5. The idea of renovating Valencia's current stadium, Estadio de Mestalla, was still being discussed at the end of 2024. Architects held a meeting to present their alternative to resuming work on Nou Mestalla: upgrading the existing stadium. They argued that renovating Mestalla would be a realistic decision compared to a project with a budget they described as insufficient and poorly planned. The official budget for completing Nou Mestalla is 201 million euros, including general costs. However, experts estimate that the actual cost could exceed 300 million euros, even in the best-case scenario, with predictions going beyond 400 million euros. Such high expenses put the club in a financially risky position, threatening its long-term economic stability. Experts also compare these numbers to the cost of building other stadiums in Spain. Nou Mestalla would cost around 6,748 euros per seat, significantly more than the 4,500 euros per seat at stadiums like Metropolitano in Madrid or San Mamés in Bilbao. Given these differences, renovating Mestalla seems like a more reasonable option, both financially and practically. The estimated budget for a complete renovation of Mestalla was 113.4 million euros, including a 20% allowance for potential extra costs, making this option highly competitive. However, the decision was made not to proceed. It's believed that such a move would likely eliminate the city's already slim chances of hosting World Cup matches. On the other hand, if the construction of the new stadium is ever completed, it would certainly be a shame to lose the old Mestalla, a one-of-a-kind stadium with its Mediterranean style and steep stands. Which option would you choose? A larger modern stadium or the sentimental renovated Mestalla? Follow StadiumDB to stay updated on Valencia's stadium developments. Who knows, the progress there might feature in our video series about stadium constructions around the world. See you soon!